Hola, ¿qué tal amigos? Buenos días, buenas tardes y buenas noches. No importa la hora que sea, siempre es un gran momento para aprender español con Profesor Pablo. Our lesson today is huge. This is something that we say multiple times a day. We want to tell you and show you how to tell someone to do something. We're going to use the verb decir, and we have the 5 commands here. Dile que, tell him or her to. Dígale que, tell him or her to. Díganle que, tell him or her to. Digámosle que, let's tell him or her to. And then the negative of the dile que would be no le digas que. Don't tell her to or don't tell him to. Now these can become negative. You just go no le diga que, no le digan que, and no le digamos que, or no le digas que. But we're going to focus on the positive way of telling somebody to do something. And we're going to use our number one friend, the present subjunctive. Get out those piano keys. Get out that Spanish piano, right? Those 10 keys. Number 8, we're going to hammer it today. Present subjunctive. How do you form the present subjunctive? Well, you take the yo-o form of the present tense. Just about every verb ends in yo-o except for like estoy, doy, voy, say, etc. You take the yo-o form, you change that o to opposite vowel. Opposite vowel for AR verbs is E, and opposite vowel for ER and IR verbs is the letter A. So we're going to see how that all works out. Dile que. In this case, when you're telling someone to do something, the que means to. Tell him to, or tell her to. If you want to say tell them to, you're going to use les. So tell him to do something is dile que, blah, blah, blah. Tell them to do something would be diles with an S, diles que. And the same thing here. Dígales que, díganles que, digámosles que. No les digas que. So if you want to say them, it's les, L-E-S. Okay, let's look at our 3 clusters of verbs. Venir is to come, it's a go verb. Quedarse, reflexive, to stay or remain. Sentarse, to sit down. Pagar is a cargarzar verb, to pay. Ayudar, regular all the way, to help. Irse is irregular, to take off or to leave or to go away. Hacerlo, that's a go verb, to do it. Traerlo, that's a go verb, to bring it. Venderlo, to sell it. Verlo, to see it. Mentir, to lie, that's an E to IE stem change. Llegar, that's a cargarzar, we're going to get the gay, G-U-E. Llegar, to arrive. Conducir is a ZC, like conduzco and traduzco. In merezco, I deserve. Cuidarse is reflexive, to take care of yourself. Lastimarse is to get hurt, reflexive. Quejarse is to complain, reflexive. Over here, caerse. Not only is it reflexive, but it is a go verb. Caigo, right? Caerse. Ganar, to win. Dormir is a O to UE, to sleep. Hablar, to talk or speak. Decir is a go verb. Tener is a go verb, to have. Tener cuidado is to be cautious, to be careful, Gritar, to shout. Correr, to run. And dar is to give. Okay, so let's start practicing. Let's go. Tell her to come would be dile que venga. Tell them to come, diles que vengan. Okay? Tell him to stay, dile que se quede. Tell them to stay, diles que se queden. Let's go with dígale. This is the usted command, right? You're telling an usted person to tell someone to do something. Okay? Tell her to sit down. Dígale que se siente. The familiar command would be dile que se siente. Tell them to sit down. Diles que se sienten, or dígales que se sienten. If you're telling 2 or more people to tell somebody to sit down, you would say, díganles que se sienten. Don't tell them to sit down. No le digas que se siente. Don't tell them to stay. No le digas que se quede. No le diga que se quede. No le digan que se quede. Remember, this is the usted command, and this is the group command, right? The ustedes command. This is familiar when you're on a first name basis with someone. And digámosle would be just the let's form, the we command. For example, let's tell him not to stay. Digámosle que no se quede. Let's not tell him to stay. No le digamos que se quede. But we're going to go positive mainly. Let's go with pagar. Tell him to pay. Dile que pague, G-U-E. Tell them to pay. Diles que paguen. Ayudar. Tell him to help. Dile que ayude. Tell her to help. Dile que ayude. Let's tell them to help. Digámosles que ayuden. Let's go with irse. This is where we get the vaya. Tell her to take off. Dile que se vaya. Tell her to leave. Dile que se vaya. Tell her to go away. Dile que se vaya. Tell them to boogie, to split, to make tracks, to book. Diles que, those are some slang expressions in English. Tell them to take off. Diles que se vayan. Hacerlo, to do it. Tell her to do it. Dile que lo haga. Tell him to do it. Dile que lo haga. Tell them to do it. Diles que lo hagan. Cluster 2. Let's remain a cluster buster. Traerlo. It's a go verb. Tell him to bring it. Dile que lo traiga. Tell him to bring it to me. Dile que me lo traiga. Tell him to bring it to us. Dile que nos lo traiga. Tell him to bring it to her. Dile que se lo traiga. That you can't have lay lo. You got to change the lay to say. That was a prior lesson. Venderlo. Tell her to sell it. Dile que lo venda. She doesn't like her car. It breaks down. Tell her to sell it. Dile que lo venda. Verlo. Tell them to take a look at it. Diles que lo vean. Tell him to look at it. Dile que lo vea. Mentir. I-E stem changing verb, right? Tell them not to lie. Diles que no mientan. Dígale. Tell her not to lie. Dígale usted, por favor, que no mienta. Dígale usted a él que no mienta. Please tell him not to lie. Llegar. Tell him to not be late. Dile que no llegue tarde. Let's tell them not to be late. Digámosles que no lleguen tarde. Conducir. Tell her to drive carefully. Dile que conduzca con cuidado. Dile que maneje con cuidado. Cuidarse. Tell them to take care. Diles, we're going to go with the les, Diles que se cuiden. Tell him to take care. Dile que se cuide. Tell your mom to take care. Dile a tu mamá que se cuide. Lastimarse, to not get hurt. Tell them not to get hurt. Diles que no se lastimen. Tell him not to get hurt. Dile que no se lastime. Quejarse. Tell them not to complain. Diles que no se quejen. Tell him not to complain. Dile que no se queje. Caerse. I love caerse. In the preterite, it's a Y verb. Past subjunctive, it's a Y verb. In the present tense, it's a go verb. I love this verb. Caigo. 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 It's a yo form. Okay. Tell him not to fall. Dile que no se caiga. Powerful. Dile que no se caiga. Tell them not to fall. Diles que no se caigan. Ganar. Tell them to win. Dile que gane. When I get that Joe Frazier in the ring, I'm sticking and moving. I'm training right now. I'm getting ready to go with Joe. I whoop George Foreman, Floyd Patterson, Henry Cooper, George Chavallo. I'm in great shape. Remember, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Be heavyweight champion of the world with the smell of brute and the punch of Ali. Dile que gane. Tell Ali to win. Dile a Ali que gane. Let's go. Let's go. Tell them to win. Diles que ganen. Dormir. Tell her not to sleep in class. Por Dios. Dile que no duerma durante la clase. Tell them not to sleep in class. Diles que no duerman en la clase. Durante la clase, que no duerman. Hablar. Tell him to speak up. Dile que hable más alto. Tell them to speak up. Diles que hablen más alto. Dígale, díganle is the usted and ustedes commands. Let's go with the usted command. You're talking to an usted person, right? You want to say, tell her to be careful. Dígale que tenga cuidado. Tell them to be careful. Dígales que tengan cuidado. Gritar. The kids, the little kids. Ay, Dios mío. Tell them not to shout. Diles que no griten. Here I am shouting, right? Diles que no griten. Tell them not to run in a hospital. Diles que no corran en un hospital. Diles que no corran. Tell her not to run. Dile que no corra. Tell her to run with the wind. Dile que corra con el viento. Tell them to run with the wind. Dile que corra con el viento. Tell them to run like a deer. Dile que corra como un venado. Dar. Tell her to give it to you. Dile que te lo dé. Tell her to give it to me. Dile que me lo dé. Tell her to give it to us. Dile que nos lo dé. Snip, snap, snout. This tale is all told out. This is a great lesson. I love this lesson because this is high frequency Spanish, right? High frequency. So the commands are dile que. This is the one you're going to use. You're going to use all four of these commands considerably less together than you will dile by itself. Dile que, tell him to, because you're talking to your family, your friends. Tell him to, tell her to, tell them to. Tell her to or tell him to, dile que. Tell them to would be diles que. And of course, you said command, dígale que, ustedes díganle que, or les. And then here, let's tell him, digámosle, let's tell them, digámosles. Don't tell her to come. No le digas que venga. No le digas que hable. Don't tell her to talk. You can go negative with all of these, right? The dile negative is no le digas que. This negative would be no le diga que. Negative, no le digan que. And here, no le digamos que. Ya estuvo. That's it. All right. Great day. Great day to study Spanish. Great day to learn Spanish. Tell them to see it. Diles que lo vean. Tell them not to do it. Diles que no lo hagan. Just make diles. Make a gazillion of these examples and you get really good at it. And again, the piano key that I like the best is verb number 8. The present subjunctive, opposite vowel, right? Okay, that's it. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves. Cuídense mucho. Tengan un gran día. Nos vemos pronto. We'll see each other soon. Hasta la próxima lección. Muy bien. Hasta luego. Bye.